Hello, this is Mike Vrobel from DadCooksDinner.com, and this is how I make a big batch of quick chili in my 8-quart pressure cooker. Why is this quick chili? The first reason, I used canned beans. I like kidney and pinto beans in my chili, and I use 6 cans for my 8-quart pressure cooker. I'd only use 4 cans if I was using my regular size 6-quart cooker, but we're making a big batch here. Empty all the beans into a strainer and let them drain. I normally do this over the sink, but so you could see it, I'm doing it into a big bowl here. The beans are all ready. Let them sit and drain while we prepare the rest of the recipe. Next, I peel and mince 1 large onion. I grab the biggest one I can find for this. I like the flavor that the onion brings to the chili. Mince it up as small as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect to dice, but get it pretty small. We're going to saute that onion in the cooker. So first we need to add a tablespoon of oil. I just eyeball it. That might be closer to 2, but that's okay. Set the cooker for saute mode or medium heat on a stovetop cooker. Wait until the oil starts shimmering. That lets you know it's hot enough. Then add the onion. We want to cook the onion until it turns translucent and maybe is browning a little bit around the edge. Sprinkle the onions with a ½ teaspoon of salt. This helps them release their liquid and saute a little better, and it starts adding flavor to the chili. Next, garlic. Peel the cloves. I smack them with a knife, and that loosens up the skin enough that I can pick it off with my fingers. Then, trim the root ends off the cloves and smash them flat. This is a good way to work out your aggressions while you're cooking. Add the smashed cloves to the pot with the onions and stir them in. I know you're not supposed to use your knife, but that big flat surface makes it easy to scoop them up off the board. It'll take about 5 minutes for the onions to saute. Be patient, let them get translucent, it helps build flavor. I use the sauteing time to get everything else ready for the recipe. Okay, the onions look good, time for the spices. I toast the chili powder and the other spices in the oil in the pot with the onions. I toast them for about a minute. This is called blooming the spices, and it helps bring out their flavors. I go with 6 tablespoons of chili powder, about 1/4 cup plus another ½ of a 1/4 cup, a tablespoon and a half of cumin. As you can see, I'm just kind of eyeballing these, and a tablespoon of oregano. I'd cut these by about 25% if I was working in my 6-quart pressure cooker. Finally, it's time to add the ground beef. That's the second trick to quick chili. You don't use big hunks of beef in it, you use ground beef because it cooks really quickly. About 10 minutes of pressure cooking gives you the equivalent of a couple hours of simmering on the stovetop. Stir the beef into the spices, making sure it's coated really well, and then add 2 cups of water or preferably chicken broth. I was out of chicken broth, unfortunately. Let this come to a simmer and keep stirring often, breaking up any clumps of beef. You want it pretty smooth. About like that. Add the drained beans to the pot. And a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. Mix everything up really well. We want it completely smooth and ready to cook. That looks about ready. Now watch out for the max fill line on your pressure cooker. You don't want to go more than about 2/3 full. Lock the lid on your cooker, make sure the valve is set properly, and set the cooker for 10 minutes at high pressure. On my Instant Pot, that's 10 minutes in manual mode. It will take a few minutes to come up to pressure, and then we wait for the countdown. Pressure cooking is done, but we need to let the pressure release with a slow, natural pressure release, about another 15 minutes. My pressure valve dropped, letting me know the pot is no longer pressurized and is ready to open and finish up. Now, we want to give it a good stir and then a taste. It will definitely need some fresh ground black pepper, and it might need a little more salt. Canned beans and canned tomatoes are pretty salty, so I usually don't have to add salt to this recipe for it to taste good. That said, it's always a good idea to taste for salt before you serve. Another thing is, this recipe is not very spicy. I don't find store-bought chili powders to have a whole lot of heat to them. I do have a couple people at my dinner table who are very heat sensitive though, so instead of heating up the chili, I pass a couple bottles of hot sauce at the table. That lets me spice up my chili to where I want it without killing them. I also like to serve with sour cream, diced onions, and a little pickled jalapeno for more heat. There you have it, one big batch of pressure cooker chili in the 8-quart pressure cooker. This is Mike Vrobel from DadCooksDinner.com. Thanks for watching.